Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's episode is all about the Natasha Denona Lila palette, which is in this beautiful purple packaging. And here's a peek at the inside. I was so excited when she announced this palette, as much as I'm a fan of the Sunset palette, and I'm very comfortable with the Sunset palette warm color scheme. This one was just so pretty and a little bit out of my comfort zone, and I'm glad that, you know, just right here are these really bold pops of color, and I feel like all the other shades could end up being like a very sort of neutral smoky eye look without getting too crazy. So anyway, I thought that the colors in here were really great. I was just super excited to get this. So if you're interested in hearing my review and watching a demo later on of this eye look that I came up with, then just keep on watching. So I purchased this palette off of the Beautylish site, and it arrived broken. I don't know if you can see that this color here is like all cracked. So, you know, I unpackaged my box, and you know, when a shadow or powder breaks, you start to see evidence of that before you actually get to the palette. So I'm unwrapping the box and I'm starting to see some pigment. I open up the box and it's like all on the inside, and I thought, no, no. So I open it up and this shattered everywhere. So I contacted Beautylish. Without any hesitation, they sent out a new one and I got it the next day. So with that said, what I did was in the meanwhile, I cleaned this up, but honestly, I couldn't keep my hands off of it. So I cleaned it up, and it, you know, it looks great. And I just started swatching it. I started dabbling with it, and I thought, all right, well, this one is my baby now. And then when I got the new one, I mentioned it to a friend of mine, and I sold it to her. So anyway, all in all, great situation at the end. I've said this plenty of times before, but nothing beats Beautylish's customer service there. So enough about that. Let's get into the palette. So if you're familiar at all with the Natasha Denona palettes, this is the exact same size as the Sunset palette. So here's the Sunset palette, and here is the Lila palette, and I think they're great companions too. They're just really complementary. I think you can work with a lot of the colors in here with this and vice versa. I think this was like just an awesome follow-up to the Sunset palette. So there are 15 shades in here. So there are 4 shades in the creamy matte formula, 6 in the metallic formula, 2 in the duochrome formula, 1 in that like chroma crystal formula, and then there's one that I actually have never seen before, or maybe I just haven't been paying attention. But this Juno color down here has an S designation, so I don't know if that means satin shimmer, maybe? S for shimmer. But Juno is the only color in here with the S designation. So the first thing that I noticed right off the bat was the K designation, the crystal, the chroma crystal shadows, which in this palette is the Magnolia shade right here. That when you look at it, it doesn't look like one of the chroma crystal shadows. It doesn't have like a chunky glitterness to it. It doesn't have like a pressed kind of glitter appearance to it. So I was really intrigued, and when I swatched it, I feel like it has more of like a metallic appearance to it. So that was the first thing that I noticed. And I have to say, I'm not really complaining. As much as I really liked the kind of like pressed glitter, kind of chunky formula that you saw in the Star palette and the Sunset palette, they were very, very difficult to work with. At least I found them a little bit difficult to work with. There was some fallout. You had to use your finger. You had to be very careful and like press. If I tried to go in with a brush and kind of blend the edges, it would just sort of start to like crumble. So anyway, I think this shadow is going to be much easier to work with, but it is quite different from what you've seen in previous palettes. So that's the only difference that I've noticed with the formulas. I find the creamy matte shades to be just as creamy as the Sunset palette creamy mattes, so those do not disappoint. I think that they are really beautiful. They manage to be incredibly pigmented, but incredibly creamy, incredibly easy to blend all at the same time, and I think that's pretty difficult, but it is quite impressive. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with A Glittery Life. She has a YouTube channel. I believe her name is Trish, and she works for Natasha Denona now, and I watched her video on this palette, which was when I learned that this was not Lila but Lila, and she has amazing information in that video. I'm going to link it down below if you have a chance to watch it. Please go ahead and watch it. She mentioned that you didn't have to use transition shades when using Natasha Denona shadows because they transition themselves. I was like, what? Like, mind blown. And then she said, you know, with a lot of these metallic shades, use your finger. Just pat them into the pan, pat them onto your eye, and then use a brush to kind of like blend them in or kind of soften the edges a little bit. And I thought, okay, that's really, really great information. I also watched Stephanie Nicole's video on this palette, and she has very long nails, so she can't really use her fingers. So she mentioned that one of her subscribers told her to use like those old school sponge tip applicators that you find in like drugstore eyeshadow palettes, that you find in most eyeshadow palettes that we never use, that we probably throw away, but the ones with the little pointy sponge tips. She bought like a bag of those applicators, and she used those for those metallic shadows instead of her fingers, and she said that those worked really, really well. So I just wanted to pass that along in case you hadn't seen her video yet. I'm going to go ahead and swatch these now. What I'm going to do is go from top to bottom and then across, because I feel like the shadows look prettier that way. I'm going to start up here. We have Per Se, Lila, and Juno. I just moved the camera in a little bit closer. Next three. God, look at that pigmentation. So beautiful. Viola, Amethyst, and Livid. We have Amara, Magentic, and Purpure. So before I swipe my arm clean, I just want to point out the finishes. So Per Se is a creamy matte, Layla is a metallic, Juno has that S designation, which I think is shimmer. This is Viola, which is a metallic. This is Amethyst, which is a metallic. Livid, which is a duochrome. Amara, which is a creamy matte. Magentic, which is metallic. And Purpure, which is also metallic. Next three. Here is Cyclone, which is a metallic, Magnolia, which is a crystal, and Dragon Bite, which is a duochrome. And then the last three. This is Nude Vino, which is a creamy matte, Nude Mauve, which is a creamy matte, and Helio, which is a metallic. So Cyclone, which is a duochrome, Magnolia, which is a crystal, Dragon Bite, which is a duochrome, Nude Vino, which is a creamy matte, Nude Mauve, which is a creamy matte, and Helio, which is a metallic. So I'm a huge fan of Natasha Denona eyeshadows. These are no surprise how much I like them, how well I think that they all performed. I don't think there's one dud in this entire palette. They're all just really beautiful. They're pigmented, they're blendable. I mean, I could go on and on. I think if you've ever used Natasha Denona shadows before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So with this particular eye look, I incorporated these two bright colors along with a few others. So if you're interested in finding out how I got this look, then just keep on watching. So first I'm going to go into the color Nude Mauve, this color right here. I'm going to use my Wayne Goss number 16 brush, which is just simply a fluffy blending brush, and then go in lightly. And then I'm going to go into Nude Vino, which is right above Nude Mauve, and I'm going to use my Wayne Goss 18 brush, which is another blending brush, but it's a little bit flatter. And I'm going to deepen up the outer corner of my eye. And I'm just bringing that about midway over my lid here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my clean finger and I'm going to go into the color Amethyst, which is this bright sort of ultraviolet color. And I'm just going to kind of swirl my finger in there gently. And then I'm going to press that onto the outer corner, sort of over that nude vino color. And at this point, I'm not too worried about whether it looks clean or not. I'm just trying to get the pigment onto my eyelid, and then we're going to use a brush to blend it out. So I'm doing about 1/3 of my outer lid here. And then I'm going to take a big fluffy blending brush. This is just a Morphe M505. And I'm going to blend all the edges of that amethyst color and just sort of bring it in a little bit. And then I'm going to take the color right next to that. It's called Magentic, and it's another metallic color. I'm going to take another clean finger and go into this color and dab it onto the middle part of my lid. And then one last clean finger. I'm going to take my pinky finger now, and I'm going to take this color Juno down here, and I'm going to place this on the inside portion of my lid. And I'm going to take that same Morphe blending brush and kind of work these colors together so that there isn't so much of a clear delineation between them. And then I'm going to take a small pencil brush and go back into the color Juno and use that on the inner corners of my eyes. And then just a touch of that Juno color under my brow bone to highlight a little bit. And then I'm going to take another clean pencil brush. I'm going to go into the color Layla, which is this dark, very cool brown color. And I'm going to use that to line my lower lash line. And I'm just using that about halfway. And then I'm going to go back into this nude vino color and work that across my lower lash line as well. And I'm going to start from the inside and work out. And I'm using it over that Layla color to sort of smoke that out a bit. So I'm going to go in with another pencil brush into that deep color Layla, and I'm just going to line my upper lash line with it. And that's it for the eye look. So I'm just going to go off camera and like finish. I'm going to curl my eyelashes, put mascara on, I'm going to do something with my eyebrows and put on some lipstick, and I will be right back. So here's my final look. I just added some mascara, cleaned up my eyebrows, and I also threw on the Tom Ford Lips and Boys lip color in Egon number 68. I am not sure if this is still available. Some of these lip colors were limited edition, so I will definitely link down below if you can purchase it online. If not, I'm so sorry, and I will, if you do like this lip color, let me know down below and I will try and find some dupes for this, because I think it's a really great match for this eyeshadow palette in general. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please comment down below if you have any questions, any comments or anything. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video.